Did you go with, is that mean L for less than, and then mean M?
I did that on here because mine, I like wrote
For
out the actual
middle age?
Yeah.
Is that what the M, why you chose M? Oh, goodness. Look, because the L and the O, I was like less, over, and then I was like, what did M come from? Middle aged, yes.
Can I say like the means are not the same instead of not equal?
Sure.
Right, okay.
No! No!
Yeah. I mean, in theory, you should be a little more, I can't think of the word. I used to have you guys write it like, if this was for true, mean, no, you're fine. I'm kind of in the senioritis moment with you guys too.
Yes, so that's why we should not have a test.
True, mean.
Exactly.
What is it? The true, mean, driving, angry driving. Or less than 30. That's how I used to have you guys define parameters. So it'd be the true mean angry driving score for those less than 30. Then I would have used dittos and said for 30 to 55. And then dittos for 55 plus. Name.
Instead of angry driving score, can you just say value score?
Sure. I thought you were going to correct my grammar. I was like, how did I screw up my grammar? All right. Did that clarify, Hannah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean, technically you didn't.
No! No! Anna's going to come check conditions for you guys.
You just write that? That's all you want me to write? Is that?
Yeah. On your random, will you add the 10% condition? You can just say 10% condition.
You just want me to, okay.
Yeah, I can explain it.
Okay, good?
Yeah. All right. So, random, up here it tells us that it was randomly selected. The drivers were selected without replacement, so you should check your 10% condition, which means that there have to be more than 2440 younger than 30-year-old drivers, which I'm sure there are, and more than 7340 30 to 55-year-old drivers, which I'm sure there are, and more than 3640 55 and over, which I'm sure there are, because there's like a zillion people in the U.S. I was an estimate. Normal, remember you could check the graphs, or your sample sizes were all over 30, which they're all over 30, so we don't need to check our graphs. And then she took largest standard deviation divided by smallest, which was less than 2, so our standard deviation condition is met. Questions before we move on? I wrote zeros on all these and said, hey, yeah, there's more than that many drivers in that age group. That was my check in the 10% condition. Like I said, I have senioritis like all you guys too.
So can we not?
No!
Please.
Please.
Actually, I need this for a grade.
What if we deep clean your classrooms? I'd rather grab.
Similar to tonight's homework.
I'd rather deep clean
And we'll organize it. We'll go to Target real quick and buy some organizing supplies.
Let's do this going. So we can
Alright,
take a field trip to Target.
Yay!
that's like the best place.
Can we actually? Let's go.
Alright, Target.
I didn't hear you.
Everyone.
Listen, Sam. Alright, using the same example as yesterday with the hummingbirds and the flowers. So I'm not going to read it out loud again. Okay. Today we're actually going to do the tests. Use the 4-step process.
What's that? No.
State plan to conclude.
Yesterday, I had you do state and plan.
Yeah. That's
And now text do.
Now we gotta do the
Just to remind you, though, state is just your hypotheses, and I suppose there was one thing I didn't have you do yesterday. Just as a reminder, I'm using B, R, and Y. So H null mu of B equals mu of R, which equals mu of Y. And then alternative, they're not all equal. So what was the other thing we should have in state that I didn't have you write yesterday?
What they equal.
Alpha.
Alpha.
but yeah, you need to
0.05 unless it's stated otherwise. Plan. We're running an ANOVA test. Conditions are random, normal, same standard deviation. I'm gonna cheat.
No way.
not sit for the example.
We do that all the time with tests.
Honestly.
I'm ignoring that comment.
That's generous.
Yeah. All right. So yesterday we did these two.
I was trying to do it when you weren't talking.
Like in between two words. All right, so we did check them. They are random. It tells them.
Alright, now we're still.
It was dull.
Okay. Yeah, conditions met. You guys okay if I just put that from yesterday? See day 1 notes. Who else? Who else is getting it?
Go right now. Right now. Come on, now's your chance.
All right. I will be nice because I don't want to have to teach how to draw the F distribution. It's really fun to do.
Oh, so we don't have to do it?
You don't have to draw a picture.
Yay!
Okay?
We have to on the test though.
If we don't know how to do it, then you get to do it on the test.
Draw
So-
what, you can just draw whatever
Throw
just
it down.
straight to
Can
test.
I draw someone?
In the do, I do need you to tell me degrees of freedom for the numerator, degrees of freedom for the denominator. You're going to give me the value of your F statistic, and you're going to give me the P value. How do we find degrees of freedom for the numerator?
K minus 1.
K minus 1. What is K?
That's like how many options you have. So ours is 3.
We have 3 different groups. So K equals 3. And degrees of freedom in the numerator is 3 minus 1, so 2. How do we find the degrees of freedom for the denominator? N minus K. What is capital N?
That's like you add it together. So like how many total you took the sample of, if that makes sense.
So we had 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 in that sample. Oh, good memory. You know, I should have looked. I have my notes right here.
It's 23, yeah. 16, 23.
How did you just remember that?
She's brilliant. 39, 54. So N is 54. So the degrees of freedom in the denominator is 54 minus 3, so 51. Now, some of you may have this in your calculator from yesterday. Sadly, I don't think I do.
What?
I'm pretty sure I put... Oh, no, I do. Look at that. Here, you take that one, because I know I erased it in this one. So, I'm going to take a minute and type them in, because, well... 1, 2. Make sure you have your lists in there so that when we run our ANOVA test, you have them in there. Because if you don't have them in there, it ain't going to work. 4, 48.15, 50.26, 50.12, 46.34, 46.94, 48.36. 41.9, 42.01, 41.93, 7.69, oops, 41.69, 39.78, 40.57, 60. Did you call this archaic?
Yeah, why don't we just scan it? Like, why isn't there a scanner on it?
Chaotic like photo math.
Yeah, let's get photo math on this bad boy.
I love what? Yeah.
What do you do, photo math?
Like, I'm happy to do the calculation in my thing. I'm talking about, like, entering it into the computer. Like, the least they
Dude,
could
you have
do.
to pay for photo math. It's dumb.
Oh, I know.
What?
I remember the
You do?
yeah, I remember the old days.
Download.
I used attitude.
I remember the old days where it's like scan it,
It was
give you the answers. Now it's just you have to. It's like Shaggy.
Maybe you'll get a free trial.
To get it to understand.
China needs photo math at the list here. I'm sorry.
It doesn't work for stats.
No, it doesn't.
It never works for me, like, actually, ever.
All right.
Yeah.
Do we all have our lists in there?
No, I need, like, one more.
I need like 5
Okay.
more to do.
I just
Alright,
would
well,
not
leave that.
I have the best. Gradley?
we good?
Yeah.
No.
I thought it was so fast. It takes me like 10 minutes to fill in that in.
Practice? I mean, I've been teaching AP stats for years. So I've gotten quite the technique. Maddie, are we good?
Okay, good.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think everyone else has. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, good. All right. Everybody listening? Once, we're not there yet. Once you hit, have your list, hit stat, go over to tests, scroll up. It should be the very first one. When you scroll up, ANOVA. Hit enter. Then you type in the lists you're using. So we have list 1, so second 1, comma, list 2, comma, list 3. I doubt it.
I did.
We'll find out.
Oh, shoot.
She closed her parenthesis, I did not. Once you have your lists in there, hit enter.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, that was, whoa, that was easy. What the heck?
259.
Oh, I definitely did this.
Is that not okay?
I just see
There's an
big.
error on there.
Uh-oh, you got an error?
No, you did too.
What?
It says
Oh, that would be if I was teaching you the actual formula for finding F by hand, but that's no fun. The top is the numerator, is the factor. And there's your degrees of freedom for the numerator. The denominator, they call it the error. And there's your degrees of freedom for the denominator. But it's a really messy, ugly formula. And since the calculator does it for you, there's no point. So F is 259. We're going to go to 2 decimal points. So 259.12. P-value, I am not putting 26 zeros behind a decimal because it's e to the negative 27. So I'm just going to say P is essentially 0 because 26 zeros, that's 0.
I got like a slightly different
You got a slightly different what?
I got 259.3.
Wait, did you fix it?
You probably mistyped one of the decimals.
You just round up one too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
That's what I was going to say.
That was really
right.
funny. That one was really funny for the little guy too. That was the funniest thing she ever said all year.
All right, conclude. Just like any significance test conclusion, we start by saying, assuming H null is true. There is.
Blank probability that.
What's the blank? There is a 0 probability of getting an F greater than or equal to 259.12 purely by chance. Strong or weak evidence? Strong. This provides strong evidence against H null. is or is not statistically significant? I forgot. Wow. This provides against. Strong evidence against. H null and is stat sig at alpha equals 0.05 because our P is less than alpha. Reject or fail to reject?
Reject.
Therefore, we reject H null and conclude that not all, well, that mean B, mean R, mean Y are not all equal. Are not all equal. Now, technically, if you get a statistically significant result, you should do a follow-up, multiple follow-up significance tests where you would compare the mean of B to the mean of R, mean of B to the mean of Y, and R to Y. So you would do 3 follow-up significance tests, but I'm not going to make you.
Thanks, Sophie.
But I want you to know that if you go on into further statistics or you study psychology or something and you get a statistically significant result for ANOVA, that means you're supposed to go further and do more testing. Right now I'm just testing you on whether you can do ANOVA, not whether you can then do what I already taught you. Although for some of you it might be a good reminder of chapter 10 if you still need to finish that test. Questions? You guys are gonna perform an ANOVA test over here. State plan, do, conclude.
Out of pocket.
How is that out of pocket?
Wait, Biddle, are we ever going to use these numbers again on the system?
No.
For the packets?
I mean, maybe, no. I don't plan on it. Don't say that, Hannah.
Silly, Maddie.
It hurts.
You know, I got sent to a call center because I
Don't read the problem.
Yeah. And then when you have questions, I go, did you read the problem? And she's like, no.
They're all like so unnecessarily long. I don't actually think they know.
Like, half of it isn't even important.
Yeah, no. Like,
Like, how it was, like, okay.
Yeah, I don't have time to read
Yeah, like, these all. Yeah, they're pretty good.
speak at all, and I was so
Oh, is that right? Nice, right? Yeah.
and I love the announcement, right? I think it's like my favorite shot. Because I genuinely like that.
I have to do this.
Someone called Papa John's and he's dead.
I'm pretty sure he is.
No, this is rant tax.
I just told you that.
That just seems more expensive. We got outsource our kids in their libraries.
Yeah. It's not. They're not all involved. But you should, Sharon's right, you should read it. But I was just. When you did. No.
I never did 4.1. But I did 4.1 too. I just didn't do the last 3. So you didn't do those? Because there's 12. Wait, I guess it's okay. And you're trying this in? Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So, wow, we have to do a lot in this state. Yeah.
And then finish one bar stacks. Well, that's one where you're working. Yeah, type those in your
So you don't put not all equal yet? I did not all. She's looking at me funny. But then again, she does it this week. I work all week.
What else did I do with it?
30 cents of
We just have so
Oh.
I don't know.
I can really try.
Oh, here's the graph.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
They all have a little venom in us.
What did you just do?
Not what I meant, but yeah.
Oh, never mind.
That's where the sword
I'll be right there, Molly.
God,
that was well, of course it's throwing you because he did make a new sign for the second one.
Yeah, I don't want to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, they show they have. That's fine. Yeah, I labeled it like that. That's alright. It takes a while to like. That's alright.
Yeah. Wow, I guess all the special effects they have one film.
Are you serious right now?
And then the rest of them just like fell on top. No. We don't know what they're doing. No one saw
Anytime anybody says just that song, that's so cool.
Sure, but.
Okay, so you say parameters, do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
My head on
Also, I got it.
I probably had some numbers.
Why
are you
I haven't. I just think the first one was so good. You can't
Who's that?
Oh, mine. That's weird.
Oh,
like,
okay, that means
and then you rewatch it all
Yeah, so if there's out
and you
like
watch it, you're like,
yeah, I should have had out. Yeah, exactly. So like that would be it. But otherwise, like you can't. Yes, exactly. Yeah, even if because
That's
yeah,
great.
randomized.
I just like crazy
Randomized.
jokers.
That's okay.
I just thought terrible.
Yeah, she said.
I'm
I said
also.
no because like this.
I cringe every time.
She just
funniest things we look at. So they have songs
I can't ask again, but like she said like only her
drives
shows
a car.
is
It's not, it's purple.
She said yeah, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I would. It's like, yeah, like for example, like yeah, that one was really skewed, and then that one was really skewed. That one didn't.
Why?
One didn't.
It's that
Honestly, just because it was skewed. So that's why. Yeah. No, like I couldn't. Yeah. Like yes. Like there was no way out.
well, I'm going to
I'm so good.
I think Isabel was better. This one was way more nice.
God, it was so forgettable.
Very nice.
Dead shot's got a kid.
Will Smith.
Will Smith was Will Smith. I do. I just haven't been lately just
That's
because
all. Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, I did. So it's 7 classes. Yeah. So I thought you said like did I add one student? So no, I meant.
Is it?
Yeah, no
You
problem.
said it was above 30 minutes. So we have to.
You do that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be right there, Hannah.
Thank you. Is that just a order?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Why is it
Okay, now I can actually do. So I would
So see how they'd be symmetric if the boxes had the same like width on each side of the median. So there is some skewness, but it's not extreme enough that we would stop doing the test.
So how do I know what's
Well, if it's really extreme skewness, you're gonna have an outlier. At that point, yeah.
174.86 over 134.98.
Perfect.
Probably because one of us put one number in slightly incorrectly, and honestly, that ruins your entire thing.
That's awesome. Bro, it's sad how Kendrick's that album
Bruh.
You're gonna.
We tried to clean along.
Yeah.
I still don't recognize it super far. But there's another object.
Yeah, it's Netflix, there's nothing special. Oh my gosh. Me too.
I didn't know you was
Should
that
have like
high.
a whole bus.
Yeah, I got like 2.2.
Good
No.
figure out where we get the.
Dude, I'm a goddamn machine,
You want to get
So that everything else stays the same. Just your values. All right.
Okay, I missed something terrible.
You guys can split.
Oh, literally.
Hannah, I picked you for state, right?
Yeah.
What is the
Yeah. All right. Hannah is gonna state for us. Cheyenne's planning. Shelly's doing Amelia's.
Why do I have both of my things here?
Why is there a random square there?
I missed these things. Can I just put like
Uh-huh.
A monk outfit. I ordered a vest, right? This vest is like from Walmart. It's like from Florida, Palm Beach, Florida. From Walmart? No, yeah, but Palm Beach, Florida. Why would you wear something from Palm Beach, Florida, Walmart? Wait, this is the one that actually colored, dude. And I ordered extra large and I and you didn't get the right size? No. So I gotta find someone to shrink it. How do you like get on the internet and like find like Walmart? This is the one I found like right color. Honestly, I don't understand. I feel like colors. I already have a suit. Bro, I'm literally wearing. I'm not wearing a jacket. Let's do some pod.
He said his location.
I'm not trying to spend money. I'm literally wearing black pants, black shoes, and a black shirt. I don't know. I didn't have a suit.
Yeah.
It's not fair. It's pretty. Girl dresses can be like. How much do you get?
too much?
No, I got different ones, but they're like really good clothes.
I look good at those.
I'm trying to, like, these two are like the same.
I had to get everything fitted back.
So I was just trying to figure
Shirt,
I mean, I might have just one
jacket, dresses, like, by the
You
dress.
get the right
but
over your
we'll get
body.
the same answer, so
Make the what?
You're winning.
it
Make
should
the
still
what?
be, both of them will still be the same.
Cheyenne.
That was embarrassing.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking just get a dress, you know, where people wear.
Go to Goodwill. She just has to divide something really
Let's
fast.
change it to 30.
Oh, you distracted her? Way to go. No.
We were actually comparing answers about the map.
Fine.
She's now ready.
You want to hear if I some? Yeah, you're cheating. I didn't do that. Oh yeah. Okay, shut up.
I don't want to, don't spoil it. Yeah, I want to see it at the day.
I feel like 10 times better.
Even though it's so bad. Like, I guess we need I think I'm a part. I still
You have to draw all the graphs.
Oh, yeah.
That's why it shows you. Most people just wrote that there was no extreme skewness or outliers, and I liked that you drew it, so I chose you. Whose is that? Noah? Tap him.
No, it's too much to sell about business.
Turn it down a little, please.
Me?
Yeah. How can you think with it that loud?
It's like deaf. Is this the deaf? Can you still hear it?
Not anymore.
I don't think it's out.
You mother.
That's Eric.
What?
Yeah, facts.
I can smell it. So for N, do you have to make the graphs?
Yes.
Only if they're not greater than 30.
You should put a quick sketch. They're not, it's not that difficult.
No, it's not difficult. I read out of the room like 5 minutes ago, so.
Write smaller.
This
My
class
handwriting is like a third your size.
Wow,
So
thanks,
you don't know
Sam.
what
Hi.
My dad was I asked him how for it, and I seemed like he believed in for it. That was what
And then it wasn't even lunch.
I started
And I was like, what's that? But this class is fine. This class actually about like 1 year So I was just hanging out.
and like other stuff too. Basically,
I do think you fall, you do, except for the first 6 books. I think you could
So I was gonna make a joke about like the kids like the things to like milk bottles, you know. Which she didn't appreciate because he's actually like being serious about. It's like like they're really untested. Like you can any sorts of products, like I can't test them. Right, it's not like they're not quantitative. Because like you can't like
Thank you. And Amelia, you're up.
to look for men who smell like flowers. But it's like you can't like smell like that's not a
Wait, you tend to find
that was one of his hypotheses. But like my dad was like there could definitely be true, right? But like also like how is the degrees for you of the harmony that's actually true?
You have 17 in the prime group, right?
So do you not have to add them on to like
18 in the play, 17 in the control, which when you add those together, you get 52. And then you subtract the number of groups, and 52 minus 3 is 49. Where did I lose you, Anna? Student Services Conference Room. I'm assuming it's the conference room, like where the counselors are.
So like in the office?
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
and also just the fact that
Is that
You would think she could tell me all of them, but I don't know. I don't know.
It's okay. I have my other teachers. Hopefully it's not completely different.
I would think she would just use the same place.
Like he bases it.
I don't know. So it's not fun. It's always a baby. I don't know specifically.
Other than that, there's no research.
And like,
So many, I mean, it's like there's so many studies that there's so loose. You know, I mean, so it's very interesting. No, I love having this conversation with Dad, but also there's like so much more. He's like, he's a professor, you know what I mean? So like, oh yeah, really cool. Yeah.
It's always like that. It's never straight.
Like never like
It just be doing its own thing. No. Like,
it's his life mark.
I don't know. There's always like a video.
Yeah, everyone. So your senior thesis when you get your PhD in psychology has to be like you do your own research and interesting like this is
No, I'm talking to Anna. All right.
You can ask Garrett.
State, plan, do.
I don't really like.
is that all we're doing for that?
Yeah.
Start on
Are there any questions?
No.
Here's the do. Here's the plan.
I like that we don't have to draw little thingies. That's nice. Yeah, that's good.
It pretty much looks like chi-squared. Sometimes it's like that, sometimes it's like that. But it depends on the degrees of freedom and it gets. Alright, no questions?
No.
Jeez, Maddie. Alright. Then